so the church is located in the Ann Arbor YMCA. It's so you got this small room, probably couldn't hold more than 20 people. You got this heavy set black woman in there preaching to these college students. There's an old piano there. I mean, it's just like it's just a room. This is not a church. This is
Mm-hmm.
going to that kind of setting that I'm used to. So the lady's preaching, and I'm listening. I'm like, whatever, you know. And eventually she has an altar call. Now I'm not going up. I'm there primarily to placate my girlfriend. And she looks at me, and she says, "Young man, would you? I have a word for you. Would you come here?" So I'm like, "Oh Lord, what are we doing now?" So I go up to the front. She puts her hands on me, like on my shoulders, and she says to me, she says, "Son, you've been running away from the Lord for a long time. Not running away." She said, "You haven't been running away." She said, "But you've been searching and you've been struggling." And she began to tell me specifically certain things that have been going on in my life. So to give you an example, when I found out about the Worldwide Church of God, it's because I had gone to the library, the Livonia Public Library, and I sat down in front of the old microfiche machines, and
Mm-hmm.
I researched the Worldwide Church of God. I researched the founder, and that's when I became disillusioned and came to convince that, okay, yeah, this is not cool, found some things out. She began to tell me that. She was, "You were in the library, and you started researching this, that, and the other." And I'm like, "How the heck can you? I don't know this woman." You know? I'm like, what is this? You know, she, and then you had a friend, and your friend tried to talk to you about God, and his pastor, and you wouldn't listen to. I'm like, what? And then she said, and your dad tried to talk to you, and I'm like, oh, heck to the no. So she's just identifying. She's going down from the time that I was in high school, the specific things that I had been dealing with as far as the Worldwide Church of God up until the present. She said, so right now, she said, you're in this in-between place. She said, you believe in God, but just like you're not sure about some things. And I'm here. She's like, I'm here on behalf of the Lord to tell you, God is real. This is the, da 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 da. And so I was so shocked and moved by what she was telling me because, again, the things that she was telling me were specific things that no one knew. That's what it was. She was like, it wasn't generalities. It was like, you're at the library, you're doing this, and you're doing it. And those are things that, like, she didn't know that. She didn't know me,
Sure.
my girlfriend didn't talk to her. So it's like, there's no way she could know this stuff. And so I'm like, I didn't go back to that church for a little while.
You had to process that.
I had to process that. I was like, whoa, what
Yeah.
is going on here? And so my mom had sent me to this private school. And I remember, again, so I'm in middle school now. So approximately the time that I had gotten saved. And so I'm in this school, and it had a chapel, and there was nobody in the chapel. I had somehow, I don't know if I had wandered into the chapel. There was nobody there, and I remember going into not just the chapel, but for some reason I was drawn to the altar, and on the altar there was just these huge Bibles and all kind of ornaments that you would expect to see like in a church chapel, the golden crosses or brass crosses, communion plates and things like that you would maybe expect to see. And so I go into this back room, and I'm just a curious kid, and I swear to Bob, as my wife would say, I just felt this huge just wave of this warmth from just out of nowhere. It was like this tingling warmth that almost like knocked me out. It was just amazing. I'm like, whoa, I felt like I was going to collapse almost. And I would say probably that, I attribute that to like having, like a supernatural experience in the sense that, I wasn't sick, I hadn't eaten anything, that wasn't an issue. It was just, I think I had went to a place that was just really sanctified to God. And, I just stepped in and like, whoa,
Yeah.
And like I said, there was nobody in there. Nothing was going on. I just immediately felt like I needed to back up. Like I was in an area, not only that I wasn't supposed to be, I'm sneaking around in the chapel. But it was more than that. Like I had crossed a barrier that I wasn't supposed to be in. And I just felt this immediate, it wasn't nauseous or anything like that, but it's almost made me like almost lightheaded, but not in a bad way. Just this warmth, tingly, like, whoa, almost euphoric kind of way. I think that's probably a better way to describe it. And so that's probably like the first experience that I kind of attribute to supernatural. The third experience that I had was when I was out evangelizing. So now I'm in college, on fire for the Lord. In fact, I got another experience that crazy. So I'm on fire for the Lord, and I am out witnessing on the strip behind the Indianapolis 500. So it's me and a group. We had gone as a team, to evangelize on the strip. And so I am out on the strip talking to people, and this gentleman comes up to me, and he's clearly inebriated. He's drunk on some level. And so I'm trying to talk about Christ to this person, and I could tell it's the devil. It's like I'm talking to somebody, and you can tell the person is like coming, and all of a sudden here comes this distraction, this interference that comes in, and wants to now get involved in the mix. I'm like, look at the the devil just works. So I'm talking to the guy, and now I'm almost forced to deal with the drunk guy, and who again I could smell the alcohol on his breath, and I'm like, he's threatening me and everything like that, and he ends up telling me, I'll kill you, and now I haven't met the guy. I'm talking to this other guy, but I believe he was, I won't say demon possessed, I won't go that far, but he was definitely, we call it demonized, demon influenced. It was more than just the alcohol. And so he comes up to me and he says, I don't like you. I don't like you at all. And and I'm looking at this guy, and I'm like, okay, racial, there's a lot of black people out here, and I'm like, it's more than that, something's going on, it's just, I'm talking about God, I don't like you. He takes out this knife. He said, I will cut you. He said, I will kill you. And I look at him, I don't know what came over me. And I just felt the Spirit of God says, but brother, I love you. And all of a sudden, his whole demeanor just changed. It was just like watching, just instantaneously. He started crying. He's like, you know what? I like you. And he put his knife back in his pocket. And as I'm going down the strip, he said, listen to this man. Listen to this man. This man knows what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know whether to be, it really kind of freaked me out in one sense, because I'm like, okay, God, thank you for having the guy not shank me. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I was like, okay, I saw that as like a really miraculous act, because this man was so contrary to like what I was preaching and everything like that, and then he just changed just like that, and then I was like wondering, okay, is this like the book of Acts where the guy was following around Paul and said, hey, these are the men, and Paul had to rebuke him, that kind of thing.
Right.
But that was to me a supernatural act. But I think probably the last story that really impacted me the most again, was when I was in college on the University of Michigan campus, and I was working for a Christian bookstore called Logos, which does not exist anymore, but they were on, I think, South University in Ann Arbor, if you're familiar with that area.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm I'm at the cash register, and I've been reading scripture so much, I just felt like full of faith. This is a true story. I couldn't make this up if I wanted to. And I'm like, been reading the scriptures about healing, and I said, God, if you bring me somebody to heal, I will heal them right now. And I swear to Bob, less than 5 minutes later, somebody came into the bookstore, and they were in a wheelchair. Okay, and they came up to my register. Okay, and the person came up to my register, and they were also deaf. So they put a card on my thing, and on the card, one of the things on the card says, "Can you help me?" And I choked. I totally choked. I didn't try to lay hands on the person or anything like that. I choked. I didn't try to lay hands on the person. But I saw that in that moment, I was like, okay, God heard me when I said.
You got to be careful. You get what you ask for.
You will get. God is not, he doesn't play. No. He really listens to you. So the person leaves, and I'm feeling all bad. And I'm like, oh man, God, I'm so sorry. You know, I messed this up. I had an opportunity. All I had to do was just pray for the person. You know, that's all I had to do. You know. And then, so I said, Lord, if you give me another chance. And do you know, again, less than 5 minutes later, another man came into the store. This man had a cane, okay, one of those blind canes, okay, and he was deaf. And he put a card on my desk. And he said, do you have something for me? I choked again. Oh, no. God didn't send me anybody after that.
Did you stop asking after that?
So I did, but so now we advanced years later, you know. So I was working at a group home many years ago, and one of the young persons that I worked with, from what I remember, I believe that they had run out in front of the group home onto the street, and they got hit, I believe, by a truck. So they go to the hospital. The person's in a coma, and it just shows you, God never forgets. And if you're willing, God will use you. And so I go to the hospital, and the family's all there, and the young person is not awake. And I just said, hey, can I pray for them? And they say yes. So I pray for them that God will wake the person up out of their coma. Do you know that person woke up?
Of course he did.
Oh, OMG.
Yeah.
So I messed up the first 2 times, but I got the third one I got.
Yeah. Thank Bob.
Outlaw.